I would identify myself as a gay male. As far as I can remember, I knew I was different, and I don't know when it actually happened, but at some point in time in life, the word gay, or what it was and what it meant, was introduced into my vocabulary, and I just knew, oh, that's what I am.
I'm gay. I have been since I was a little kid. So I'm not really into labels, not my thing.
My mom has a younger brother who is gay, and she also has two sisters, and her sisters and her would always compare me to him. Oh, I'm so much like Alan, I'm so much like him, I'm so much like him. And so growing up, it was kind of, I didn't understand it at first, but then when I got older, it was like, oh, they think I'm like him, they think I'm like him. So, and then I think that was what made it harder, because that was that association, is because they can see it, they saw it in him before he came out, and then he did, they can see it in me before I come out. So it was never really like an ownership of the secret. It was sort of, okay, they know, and it's just, they're waiting for me to accept it. When I accepted it, I just didn't want it to be out and open.
When I was a little kid, everyone else kind of was into like certain things that I wasn't, and I was more into like playing with the guys, playing sports, and I was always attracted to like either like my friends or like my sister's friends, but I kind of just like put it on the back burner, you know, thinking that, okay, this is just like being a little kid, you know, whatever. But then I got to high school, and more towards you know, middle school and high school, and then I just kind of knew something was off, and it wasn't exactly, you know, something that was normal. And then as I started getting like more experience in the world, I kind of started to realize that, you know, I am different than everyone else. So, you know, I kind of just figured it out on my own. I was bullied probably all the way through 8th grade, through middle school.
Growing up, when kids get a new weapon, they love to use it. And so then that's when the homophobic slurs began.
It was just super uncomfortable for me. My teachers used to make comments to my parents, you know, because they would just be like, well, you know, your daughter does this, your daughter does that. I had teachers that like made it more difficult for me to fit in. And then I had certain people in my school, you know, as we got older, they got girlier and I got more tomboyish.
Being called gay, being called a faggot, being called queer. I caught people on video, like filming them calling me queer and bashing me and verbally abusing me, and, you know, took it to the dean of the students, and nothing really happened.
And there was one point in my life where it was just, I never wanted to go out, I never wanted to hang out with anyone. I was afraid to be myself. I had a few group of friends, you know, but it wasn't until I got to maybe my junior year that I really started to feel comfortable with who I was and telling people with who I was.
No one wanted to address the issue. No one wanted to fight the fight, because they also, like, maybe because they agreed that I was different and they didn't want to acknowledge that there was an issue there. But I think growing up all through school, it was constantly going on, and you constantly telling people this is what's happening, and they don't do anything about it. When in those situations, no one wins.
You look at society like trying to pass Prop 8, you know, and how people look at, you know, gays, lesbians, you know, transgenders, and you see how certain people treat them, and there's always that fear in the back of your mind, you know, well, what are people gonna think of me if, you know, I tell them I'm gay? I still have that fear today.
I think being vulnerable and being completely open and honest with that part of myself, I had kept it so hidden and so internalized that there were times when I wanted to tell people, or I thought like maybe I would, or maybe it would come out, and it got so bad that I started almost to black out. My heart would race, I would start sweating and my head just started swimming and the black around the eyes started coming in, and I just had to stop, like calm myself down and let it go. And it was, I guess, it was almost a trauma in the sense of this was something I'd harbored so deep, and to bring it up to the surface and shed it into the light was something I never planned on, at least not this young.
My grandparents are super old school, and it's just last Christmas, I think, my grandma was with us, and I was like, oh, I'm going to prom in a tux. I'm taking one of my best friends. And she goes, are you a lesbian? And like with this big surprise on her face. And it caught me off guard, it caught my mom off guard, it caught my sister off guard. And thank God my mom was there to have my back, but I'll never tell them. Like, there's just certain people that you just get that vibe from that you just can't tell. And my grandparents happen to be one of them. I mean, it's not something that I really want because I want to be truthful with them, but you know, you can't.
I didn't want coming out and being labeled as gay to be a scapegoat for why I'm wrong, why I'm different, and that's why it became so difficult. It's like, if I am straight and have an opinion, it's understood, okay, you have an opinion, it's different than mine, I accept it. But if it's gay, it's, oh, I brush off your opinion because you're different than I am. So that's why I didn't want people to know, so they couldn't just undercut me just for me being me. I'm attracted to beauty and what could be considered gorgeous and what has the innate primal attraction to turn heads. I would say romantically and sexually there was never an attraction to the opposite sex. Like during high school, there was someone who was interested in me, and her friend said, hey, do you want to take her to homecoming? And I said, yeah, she's pretty. And then you did the whole motions of asking her out, going on dates, going to homecoming, you know, trying the whole thing.
I dated guys because most of them just like me, and I honestly, I just felt like I should just be like, okay, well, you know, you like me. I mean, I can't say I've dated guys because, you know, to feel more accepted, but it was more towards the end of, oh, okay, I might as well try it. It was more of like an experimental thing for me, not really I'm fitting in. I've never really cared if I fit in. That's just been my personality my entire life, so.
I was able to take what was in movies, what was the heterosexist view of the world, and use it to my advantage as the tools of how to survive. So even though I cared about the person, it was harder because I was playing a part, and playing a part for everybody else. I wasn't living my own life, I was living it for everybody else.
I've had friends leave. I've had friends that have disappeared out of my life because of the fact that I was different, you know, and it hurts. But, you know, I realized that I can't hide who I am anymore. It's gonna come out sooner or later. So I just accept who I am, and I just put the fear in the back of my head.
I have not spoken with my gay uncles yet. I have not spoken to my mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family, my grandmother. I've pretty much just kept it to the immediate family who I grew up with, who I know they will accept me, and they have. But for everybody else, it's just this feeling that, you know what, maybe they won't accept it. So because there's the potential that they won't accept it, let's not acknowledge it and talk about it. The awkwardness is there, and so to this point, no one has left me, but maybe they will in the future, and that's their loss, not mine.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome to my block party. Glad you can make it.
The only triple doubles you get come with fries.
Last time you blocked someone, you were online.
I can do this all day. Your moves are just gay.
Using gay to mean dumb or stupid, not cool.
Not cool.
Not in my house, not anywhere. It's not creative, it's offensive to gay people. And you're better than that.
Well, people like, well, it's a choice. You're like, you have a choice to be gay or not. You have a choice to be, straight or not. And what I tell people is, no, I didn't have a choice. You have a choice to be bisexual. That's what I feel. You have a choice to like guys and girls at the same time. Like, that's your preference, and I have friends like that. But I have never thought I've made the wrong decision. I know what I like, and I know who I like, and I can't change that. It's my life. And if you're gonna tell me I'm wrong, then you don't belong in my life. I don't really need you in my life. I need someone who's gonna support me with my choice.
I would honestly say, growing up in Tennessee and Georgia, I don't remember anything from going to church, from the scriptures, from the Bible, anything saying that being an issue. But it was from school, the social and societal norms, that it was wrong. From school, even from an early age, kids knew what a guy was and a girl was, and what the roles were supposed to be. And if you weren't part of the roles, if you weren't following the male roles, you were a girl. If you weren't following the girl roles, you were a guy. And then as you grow up and you realize relationships of why there's two different genders and the scientific implications of that, then people realize, oh, then there's other sexualities, and if you're not the heterosexist norm, you're different, and that's bad.
Whenever someone tells me that maybe I made the wrong decision telling people I'm gay, maybe I made the wrong decision telling people I'm bi. No, you didn't. That was your choice. You made the choice to tell people that. You can't fight who you are. You can't fight how you feel about someone. It's just gonna be there. It's instinct. It's a part of the human being to be attracted to certain things. And if you're attracted to a girl, you're attracted to a girl. If you're attracted to a guy, you're attracted to a guy. It doesn't matter.
As I've grown up, I've come to terms with that. I'm not wrong. Whether it's in my family, whether it's at school, society's pressures, I'm not wrong. I'm my own person, and I can be who I am. And telling other people that, it's this intense epiphany that people don't seem to have, but they need to hear. And that is that you're not wrong. Just because people have been telling you all of this, that you've been bullied, that they don't hear you out, that you must be wrong. That's not true. And I've had several friends that I've told that to. After I discovered it for myself, I've told them, and it's helped them out majorly.
And anyone who tells me different, they don't belong anywhere near me. They don't belong in my life. Because I don't need more people telling me, you can't do this, you can't do that because you're gay. Okay, watch me. I mean, it's the same thing as like height. People tell me I couldn't make a college team because I'm 5'2" and I'm 140 pounds. They're like, you're too small, you're too light, you can't make a college team. I walked onto the Chapman basketball team. I made it easily. I walked on, I play lacrosse, I got a scholarship for lacrosse. I'm in one of the best programs in athletic training. And in middle school, they told me I wasn't gonna do anything with my life. It's just like that. I don't need people telling me I can't do something because of the way I'm different, because I am different. They can think what they want. I'm not gonna tell them they're wrong, I'm not gonna tell them they're right. That's their opinion. They have their opinion and I have mine.
What age did someone tell you what I am is wrong? Is it a fear response that you have against me that I'm different? Is it because you were taught something and you're standing behind what you were taught? And if you were taught something, what age were you taught that? Were you taught when you could think for yourself and make your own conclusions, or was it something that was spoon-fed to you? And to think, if you are going through this life and have come to your own conclusions and realizations about how to live and survive in this world, and yet you can't let go of the fact that what you were taught when you were younger was wrong when you found out that it's not, and you can't make that conclusion to yourself. I think that's a sign of closed-mindedness that I don't even approve of.
If I had to give any advice to someone for coming out, I would say, first of all, prepare yourself to be made fun of. Prepare yourself to be ostracized. Prepare yourself to just have so many of your friends, like maybe 1 or 2 to anywhere from 20, just drop you like that. You have to be mentally prepared to lose a lot to come out. Because in today's society, you can't just come out and expect everything to be the same. You know, girls will, if you're a girl and you're coming out and you're like me and you're on a sports team, if they're not okay with it, when you're in the locker room, life is just gonna be a little more difficult for you because they're gonna be a little more afraid to be themselves around you. You might not get invited to sleepovers, you might not get invited to team events just because of the fact that they're uncomfortable with you being gay because they automatically think you're hitting on them, even though you're not. You know, but it's just, that's my only advice, just be prepared to lose things. Because no matter what the situation, no matter if you have my situation where your family and friends are super supportive, you're always gonna lose something. You'll always lose a friend, you'll always lose something. You'll lose the trust between you and another friend. You'll lose that bond that you had with someone else. And if you're mentally prepared for that, then just come out. I mean, don't go flaunting it and don't go walking around and going, oh, hey everyone, I'm gay. You know, that's just gonna make it worse. If someone asks you, tell them the truth. Or if you wanna know if someone is your true friend, then tell them. But be prepared for their reaction, negative or positive. Because you never know with anybody. They can be your best friend, but the next day if you tell them, they can be out of your life. So it's just be prepared. That's all you can do.
For the people who are struggling with their sexuality, identify within themselves what they like and see if there is a label that fits that. And if not, then just be honest with the people around you. This is who I am and this is what I like, and see how they react. And it might not be the reaction that you're looking for and that one that you're dreading, but but at least you can take that first step. For the first time in your life, you've been honest. And it's an old saying that the truth will set you free, and it's in fact true, because once you're living a life through the truth, then you don't live your life through fear anymore. And I think that's the biggest problem with people that are facing this challenge, is that they're letting the fear rule their lives and not living a life where fear doesn't control it. And the fear is the power of other people. So take control of your own life and live it for yourself.
In middle school, playing with teammates, I've hid who I was. And it's just like with anybody, when you're hiding a secret, you know you're carrying that extra burden on you. It's a burden you can get rid of, but you know it's there, and you know you're afraid to do it. But I just took the leap, and I've never been more happy in my life. You know, for the first time in my life, I'm finally okay with being who I am.
Parts of me do regret the fact that it's no longer in my control. Coming out, it's out in the open, it's out in the world. This could cost me a job, this could cost me a career, everything I've worked for. But at the same time, I knew I had to come out and be myself and stop living the lie. And I think that was a moment where I just I'm not gonna be happy in life unless I can be myself. And so, really, as much as the present might be terrible or the potential the future might hold, in the long run, overall, it'll be the best decision that I made.